Our program is WIN, and I'm Rusty Wallace. Vermont, a great place. Makes you think of covered bridges, maple syrup, skiing, even Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Not stock car racing. Wrong. Let's go to Thunder Road and its owner, Ken Squier.
Well, Rusty, you're at the nation's site of excitement, Thunder Road, high atop Quarry Hill in Barre, Vermont. Little quarter-mile track, 36 years young, a lot of pride, a lot of tradition, a lot of race cars, and tons of fans.
Hey, Rusty, if you want to do some racing, come to Thunder Road in Barre.
Oh, look out, Rogerson's around. Everybody's scrambling. The yellow flag, look out, Mary.
Fun. Gotta love it.
Fantastic.
Excitement.
It's awesome.
Site of excitement.
One more time. They are side by side. Corbin sideways is gone. Over the top goes Pat Corbin in the 5.
You can't go to the big tracks for what we get.
That's the street feature number 2. Start lining your cars up.
Thunder Road's more like full contact karate.
During most of last year, we averaged over 2 flips a night. Oh, baby, one over on the front chute, the LA of Mike Randall.
The racing action, it's great, tight, real tight. In the cars that run here and along, they'll run to, sometimes you'll see them run 3 deep in that. They really get hooked up, they ride right up tight to the wall.
It's pretty exciting to be out there racing, and it's a lot of fun.
There's no place like it. It's, I mean, I've been to, 4 or 5 tracks that I've driven on myself, and it's just the atmosphere. The fans are great. I mean, anytime you walk in there, it doesn't matter if it's Thursday night or Sunday, it's going to be packed, and the fans, if you're on top or, they love you up there.
The people who are race fans in this area of the country are very passionate about this sport. There used to be 18 or 20 tracks throughout the state. Racing really started in the Northeast more so than down south, where a lot of people would think that it did start. But up here, there's not a whole lot of tracks left, and people just have a passion about this place. And it's very special, it's very picturesque.
The thing about this racetrack, unlike all the others that we're involved in and that we visit, is that it really, it's not a fabricated personality. It really has its own, and it's had its own ever since it was built. And every racetrack has a personality, but a lot of times you try to prefab it and you try to do things to make it beautiful or whatever you have to do to make a racetrack work. This one kind of created itself, and it's what you see is what you get, and that's the real beauty of it, so that everybody that comes here, no matter how disappointing their day, they walk out of here with a good feeling.
That good feeling really represents the roots of stock car racing. They are a part of the sport and part of their communities. You see how special that is when WIN returns to Thunder Road.
WIN is presented to you by Allied Signal's Fram filter products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Autolite spark plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.
Part of understanding Thunder Road is understanding the character of the people who live in the small, hard-working town of Barre, Vermont.
This town was built on granite. It's called the granite capital of the world, and for good reason.
it's always been a working class kind of town. For example, the Times-Argus is an afternoon newspaper because of the granite industry, and the afternoon newspapers grow in towns where it's blue-collar towns where the workers go to work very early and they read the paper after work.
In the state of Vermont, if it's Thursday night, it's Thunder Road, and people just come out of the woodwork. A lot of it has to do with money. It's a blue-collar town, and Ken Squier and Tom Curley have always kept it a blue-collar racetrack where you didn't have to mortgage the house to come to the races.
It's not a place where you can charge people, you know, $10 or $15 a night to come out and buy a ticket. And right now, for the last several years, it's been more entertainment and cheaper, for example, than going to the movies. And that's invaluable.
This is a tough town. They like tough sports. In fact, when they named this town, instead of having an election, they had a fist fight. And the guy that won it, that's how they named the town Barry. So it has a history and a tradition of really liking guys that get out there and can muscle their way around. And Thunder Road's part of that.
Bonsai got a trophy!
Because the track is so tricky and so difficult, just is so unforgiving, to win here has become really something special. You be king of the road, you be something.
I think if you win on a regular Thursday night here, that can carry you for more than just the season. I think that can carry many of these guys that don't win a lot of races. If they catch one at the road, that's a career for them. I mean, the fact that if you can beat this track with the kind of competition that we've been able to develop here, it's an enormous benefit to a guy's ego and to his confidence and to his personality.
For me to win at Thunder Road, it's got to be, you know, like Dale Earnhardt or somebody winning at Daytona. I mean, it's such a hard place to win at that when you do it, you know, the fans just appreciate it so much, and it's a feeling like, you know, no other.
Next generation of kids can come in and watch you that are sitting in these grandstands become the Forsyths and the Ingersons and the Marvins and the Coluccios of the 1990s. And in the year 2010, they'll talk about you as part of the history of this racetrack.
There's a lot of history that's come out of this area as far as the competitors are concerned. You can go back to the Harold Hannafords and people who are well known in this area, the Ingerson brothers. Anybody who's been watching stock car racing in the Northeast knows these names from 30-some-odd years ago. We've got some great young racers that are going to be running here now.
My brother races, and my uncles and my father and families raced at Thunder Road ever since it was open, so.
There are a lot of second-generation drivers at Thunder Road, some third-generation drivers. This car right behind me, Dean Gallison's car, his dad raced at Thunder Road for 20 years before finally hanging up his helmet, sticking his kid in the car. The guy that owns the car and crew chiefs it is his brother. I mean, that's what's magical about Thunder Road. It's family.
You see a family like the LeCaires, there's 3 generations of them. The grandfather built great cars, wonderful cars in the old dirt days, Armand LeCaire. And Joey LeCaire built cars for us here for a lot of years, and his son Joey Jr. was our track champion. And we thought he was really going to be special for the North. He was lost in a snowmobile accident. The granite cutters here in Barrie, they think highly of these drivers. They're special to them. 2 or 3 granite cutters got together and created a monument for Joey because of how much Joey liked racing. Very special, and really, I think, speaks to how much folks up here care about their racing and their drivers.
WIN is brought to you by by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube.
The short track fan is something else. Not only is he or she totally loyal, but they have a real sense of family. With Thunder Road, its staff, and the athletes who race there.
I'm Dave Moody. I've been the track announcer there for about 18 years now. Long time.
God, I grew up here. The place opened in 1960. I was here the day they opened it, and I've known just about everybody that's ever raced here through the years.
Been standing here for 30 years, and I haven't changed a bit.
Of course, Ken Squier was the founder of Thunder Road 36 years ago.
My love affair with this place started in 1960 when it was first built.
Special to me, because I was here when we originally built the racetrack, and the wall, as you see now, is concrete in front on the front stretch, but behind it, you see the railroad ties. We went on an old railroad bed and brought them out and built it right from scratch. So it's special for me. I've been here since day one.
Don't look at the wall. Don't even pretend it ain't there. I mean, when I go around, I don't even see the wall. The guy that looks at the wall is going to hit it.
The name, Site of Excitement, fits it well. It's a nice track, small, fast, a lot of action, got to be on your toes up there. The crowd and the fans are best in the world up there, they really are.
Can I help anybody?
Oh, Jesus. 25 years, probably.
Since I was about that high.
Just about ever since it's been built.
About all my life.
Long time, 15 years or so.
25 years, probably.
Probably since it opened. Just about. I used to come up with my parents all the time. I got into it. I like the people here. There's some really aggressive racing. And really an enjoyable afternoon. I really like it a lot.
Now talk about loyalty. This fellow they call Coop did his wedding around the opening race weekend at the track.
From here, I gotta go home, pull the transmission out of this car, put a new one in it. Then I gotta get cleaned up, go to my wedding. We got rehearsal after that, get up tomorrow, load the car, and go to Thunder Road. Then as soon as I leave Thunder Road, I gotta go to the airport, head to Aruba.
People talk about the Deep South being stock car racing country, but they've never been to Thunder Road. Barre, Vermont is as deep south in terms of loving racing as any place in the world. Everybody gets along fine, but there are some incredible rivalries and rabid race fans. They know their favorites, they know the guys they don't like, and they're not hesitant about letting you know the difference.
The Allisons did, the Pearsons, the Yarboroughs, the Earnhardts, the Pettys, they all started on this kind of racetrack.
When Richard Petty was up here the last year he was racing, it was absolutely the sort of the biggest thing I've ever seen, and I was obviously looking a little bit differently as a media person, but he was incredibly gracious, and the fans were just wild.
Ladies and gentlemen, the king, Richard Petty.
We love you, Richard! Always something to see the king.
I don't think any lesson was better learned by every short tracker than what Richard Petty taught about the importance of making yourself available to your fans. It doesn't matter if it's here at Thunder Road or it's at Daytona. It's the element that has made this sport grow probably more than any other. Never loses track of its common touch. Never loses track of the fact that it's people that care about it, and it's people that make it work. Not just cars, not just drivers. It's folks that come out every week at some short track and cheer on somebody they care about. Local people, local heroes, not just big stars. That's what baseball had and they lost.
Promotional consideration for WIN is provided by Sony.
Sony ESP electronic shock protection protects your music from almost any jumps, skips, or sudden stops in the Sony Car Discman CD player.
And National Dragster. Join NHRA today and receive a weekly subscription plus a free members-only T-shirt or a 1994 NHRA season review. Call 1-800-678-4630. And by Allied Signals Bendix Brakes, the best-known name in brakes. Autolite presents Force in Your Face.
You know, they wanted me to talk to you about a subject that really confuses me. Now, I'm going to tell you, to win a championship, it takes 3 ingredients. 1, a great crew chief. 2, a great driver. And 3, takes big budget. Well, I learned about that about 20 years ago. There I was, from dining rooms to bar rooms, wine and dining, who? But those people I love, the sponsor. And let me tell you something, I thought I was doing a heck of a job. And then one day, Joe Amato, top fuel driver, comes up and says, Forrest, here is the key, right here. This little tiny white ball can open a lot of doors. So, like Bernstein and all the rest, I took up golf. And there I was out there, chasing that little ball around, trying to drop it in the hole. Totally impossible. And you know what? It's confusing, because they say, grab a wood, and they give you an iron. If that's what it takes, I'll do it, but I ain't saying I like it.
Yeah, I'm with you, pal. I don't like it much myself either. But I'll tell you one thing. You've won a lot of races, and I have too. We better stick with what we're doing. We both already got good sponsors. You know, a lot of us in Winston Cup racing got our start on the short tracks, much like Thunder Road. Bill Elliott, Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt. The guys racing today are really a lot like we were in those early days, hoping for a chance at the big league, and at the same time, loving being a big fish in a little pond.
Stock car racing's famed Side of Excitement, Thunder Road, celebrates its 36th season opener Sunday at 1:30. The greatest cars, the bravest drivers, the pageantry, the spectacular action that's made Barry's Thunder Road one of the most talked about high bank quarter-mile ovals in America is all back this Sunday.
These type of wheels are there.
If you need decals, come and get them now.
Believe it or not, this is the 36th time that this little racetrack is opened up for business. And there aren't a lot of racetracks around that can claim that. And there certainly aren't a lot of racetracks around that can claim the history and the tradition that this racetrack has enjoyed. And she is the ultimate thoroughbred. If you can run this thing, you can run anywhere. That I can assure you. So have a good year. Remember today, it's opening day, and you owe these people everything you've got.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the nation's Side of Excitement, opening day 1995, and here we go. Coming down for the green, the Tigers are underway.
I think we're in for an exciting race, because we're probably going to have in the sportsman division anywhere from 50 to 60 cars, and 24 of them are going to start the feature, so hang on.
They come from everywhere. They come from New York, from Maine, all over Vermont, and they put on a show, I'll tell you.
Holy cow!
There is no groove to that track whatsoever. The guy on the outside has just as much of a chance of winning as the guy on the inside, or wrecking for that matter.
Here they come! Tracy Melrose, your winner! Miller gets it! Oh, man, a photo finish! Here they come! Checkered flag, Mark Martin, your winner! Jason Gibbs and Leo Duggan. Final time in a 3. Out of turn 4. Checkers are up. Parks down. 100 goes to Bernard Blake.
So, Rusty, I know we're not on the beaten track up here in the Green Mountains, but a lot of the drivers up here would sure like to have you come up and sample some of our racing.
How you doing, Rusty Wallace? This is Rick Guerin from Thunder Road in Barrie. You need to come north, buddy. This is where the racing's at, man.
Rusty, if you come up here to Thunder Road and race for that late model sportsman class, you probably wouldn't even qualify.
Hey, now there's a challenge. Tracy, I might just have to head up that way and check it out for myself. Maybe in time for the Milk Bowl in September. Will you believe that's the biggest race of the year at Thunder Road? It's a gesture to the farmers in the area. The tradition is for the winner of the race to kiss a beauty queen. And are you ready? The beauty queen is a Vermont Holstein cow. Now that would be a moving experience. I hope you come back next week in spite of that joke. Who knows? Maybe we'll get forced to kiss the queen.
WIN is presented to you by Allied Signals Fram filter products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Autolite spark plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.